Hey y'all, it's your boy Def. Wish for Not Life Island. Population my ass. As I announced a couple weeks ago, we are getting back into Cringe comic reads. That was a series for all of my newer subs that I had last year where I would torture myself with reading through and commentating on some of the worst comic books and graphic novels that I could put my hands on. That was until I tortured myself with I Am Not Starfire by Mariko Tamaki. That one was so bad, it cut me so to the core that I completely walked away from the series and I haven't touched it since. But you know what? I have not given y'all what y'all need. And while I definitely love a lot of the positive reviews and more deep dives and critical things I've done lately, sometimes you just gotta sit back and enjoy some cringe. You just gotta inject it right into your veins. It's the cringe, man. I tried to stay away from the cringe, but it just keep calling me. The cringe, man, it be calling me. I started this whole thing by reading a Nubia book last year, Nubia Real One, and oh boy, that was, oof, there are no words. I mean, I got great material out of it, but oh my goodness gracious. And worst of all, they took a potentially great character in Nubia and gave her this weird-ass Elseworld reimagining that completely took any wind that could have been in her sails out. And after that book, I was thinking, alright, Nubia needs a win. She needs a W. There's no reason why she should fail this much. It's completely because the writer of that book, L.L. McKinney, was more interested in having some far left message about Black Lives Matter and having white people be racist and all that stuff. She was more interested in that than actually telling a story that fans of Nubia, fans of the Wonder Woman mythos, fans of superhero comics in general could get behind. So that's why that book did so bad. And I thought after seeing her pop up in the Wonder Girl book from last year with Yara Flor, I saw that redesign. I'm like, oh, okay, y'all are actually doing some things with Nubia. All right, let's see where this goes. And then to see that she was getting her own comic book where they were drawing heavily from that design, more hype settled in. I should have known. Nope, it's current day DC, where hype is not allowed. Okay, whatever. And of course, Vida Ayala's on it because why not? I am going to go over real quickly just to catch us up what's been happening in this book from issues 1 through 3. And that's not going to take long because absolutely nothing has been happening in this freaking book. I don't understand how you have an entire book that takes place on Themyscira of all places. So many heroes, great warriors, and champions have come out of this one little spot of dirt on Earth. And what do we do when we have a whole book that's happening here? Just have the queen and her friends give a tour to some new souls on the island. Let's just have that happen. Are we actually going to show any of the epicness that happened to get stuff here? Nope. Are we going to have anything interesting, any great challenges that they have to overcome? Nope. They're all just standing around talking about how awesome it feels to be on Themyscira and calling each other beautiful and talking about how lovely everything is and how perfect this society is and how great Nubia is. She's so great. She's so beautiful. She's so awesome. She's just the bestest, guys. She's such a capable queen. She's been such a great champion. She's so strong. She's so powerful, guys. You should totally believe in her, guys. I'm super ethereal. I mean, yeah, there's some Medusa shit going on in the background and people keep having visions about like the whole island being destroyed and burnt and shit. But you see, that's actually interesting. That's something that people would want to read. People who like things like superhero comic books and fans of mythology and all that good shiz, we would actually like that. We would actually like to see our main character challenged and have to overcome, perhaps face some setbacks, maybe even deal with some personal flaws that add to the stakes and the weight of what's going on so that we can see how they deal with things. But no, that's a story you're talking about. I hear you say you want those things, but that's a story. This is not a story. Vida Ayala and Stephanie Williams are not interested in telling a story with Nubia. This is just gush on Nubia, gush on each other, lesbians, the book. That's it. I almost said show because these people completely and definitely write like they wish they were on an actual show. It's not COVID I'm coughing from, it's cringe. Ugh. There's so many words on the page. So many pages spent just talking and talking and talking. And don't get me wrong, I'm here for some good dialogue. I'm here for some good world building. One of the hallmarks of a great comic book is one that can make a simple exchange of dialogue be just as compelling and just as exciting as an epic fight scene or a display of powers. But that's not what we have here. As with so many other current day comic books, Nubia and the Amazons suffers from a chronic case of never shutting the hell up. People just go on and on about absolutely nothing. It's just talking. And you're reading it for like 20 pages and you're like, can someone throw a punch? Can a monster break in a building somewhere? Can a portal open and Ares or whoever walk through and declare war on Themyscira? Can they get word that Diana needs help in man's world and Nubia goes to do something? Can something happen that is actually interesting? And I don't understand, well, I do understand, but I don't. But I don't understand how a character who was literally created to be the equal to Wonder Woman in terms of what she can actually do just keeps getting put in these types of stories. The elephant in the room, which probably ain't even that big for most people watching this video, is that most writers today don't care about any of that interesting shit that I just mentioned, any of the awesome things that she has actually done in previous comic eras. They don't care about that. They just know that she's quote unquote Black Wonder Woman. So they're going to trot her out and they're either going to tell some woke ass YA graphic novel story about BLM and why people be racist, or they're going to do stuff like this and just have her be the bestest ever and have everyone's blow smoke up her ass for however many issues it's going to last. And you want to know about the absolute state of mainstream comics right now? We had Yara Flor, actual interesting character who a lot of people liked and were interested in. Her book gets yanked out from under her. They canceled that right on issue 6. They had issues 7 and 8 primed and ready to go over the next month. I suppose they're going to finish that, but then that's probably going to be it for the book. And then we get to Trial of the Amazons, and we're not going to have any idea what's going on in that book. For some things I know, because one of the books that was supposed to be the setup for Trial of the Amazons got freaking canceled. And a book that was not perfect, definitely had its flaws, particularly in terms of the pacing and just how long it took to get new issues, but at least that had a lot of potential. It was going somewhere. This is on the 4th issue, and not only is it coming out way faster than Wonder Girl was coming out, like the rate at which we're getting new issues has to be at least twice as fast, if not 3 times as fast as we got Wonder Girl issues. And all this over a book that, when the book dropped, the main coverage of it was about the transness of one of the new characters, because they have this thing in Themyscira called the Well of Souls, where women who are harmed by men or die at men's hands or something like that, they come back to life as Amazons. They're reincarnated. And according to Stephanie Williams, one of these women who we focus on by the name of Bia was a trans woman on Earth. So yeah, that's a thing now. Okay. While that whole thing begs more questions than it answers, my biggest issue with that whole coverage was the fact that that was the headline news for the majority of the time surrounding the announcement and the drop of this book. You have Nubia, a character who barely gets utilized, and when it's done, it's usually bad. See Nubia Real One. Now she finally has her own book, a kick-ass redesign. A couple people at least want to read the book and see where it goes, and she gets sidelined in all the coverage of her new book, all over a character who we have no idea who she is, why she's there, we don't care. Why are we even talking about this one random Amazon? What about Nubia, right? So that always feels great when you get sidelined in coverage of your own book. Beautiful. Love it. 3 issues of meandering conversations. We get a fight scene between Nubia and Andromeda. And Andromeda is possessed by Medusa right now. And so they're fighting, and the fight, it's the most interesting thing that's happened so far in this comic book. I wouldn't really call it a good fight. The choreography is questionable at best. Stuff just seems to be happening. I'm not sure if the people who drew this knows what a fight looks like, or has been in a fight, or has watched a fight. There's a way to do sequential art, particularly in fight scenes, to convey movement and impact and power, whether they're delivering a blow, taking a blow, being thrown, using powers, whatever. And this just looks like just stuff happening. I'm just going to say fight scenes are not this artist's strong suit, but it's the most interesting we've got so far in this book, so whatever. My God, this book is boring. Then that leads to issue 4, which is where I'm going to be picking up when I come back to this. We'll be going into a semi-deep dive into the worst issue of this book. God help me, God help us all. But I just had to get all this out the way so that when I get to part 2, we can just dive in and we can just really have some fun ripping this book apart. So welcome back to Cringe Comic Reads. Thank you for watching and listening. To all my new subscribers, thank you for showing up. If you're enjoying this, definitely let me know. I plan on doing these more often, most definitely. I'm still going to be covering House of X at some point in the near future. And we're going to be knocking out part 2 of this. But for now, I'm Animane, and welcome to the ouch, motherfuckers. I'm sorry, that may indeed just be how I end these videos. I have to end the Cringe Comic Reads video with a cringy line. So that'll be that. I'm Animane, and I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.